Hi, Scorpio. Hope you guys are doing really, really well. My name is Brian. I am your queer psychic bestie, and I have a reading for you guys today. This is going to be a monthly forecast for the sign of Scorpio. So, if you have Scorpio anywhere in your chart, maybe you vibe with Scorpios, maybe you're a cross watcher, whatever the case may be, this reading may resonate for you. As always, this is the internet, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do that through email or form submission on my website. All right, Scorpio, we are going to do a Celtic Cross today. Celtic Cross just gives me the widest look at your whole life. We'll be discussing pretty much everything that September has to bring to you. This is for September, of course. I forgot to say that as well. So yeah, buckle in. You're here with me for a hot minute, so let's see what's going on. Okay, interesting. Okay, interesting. All right. Interesting, Scorpio. Okay, that's your theme this month, is that everything looks interesting. So let's talk about it. Bottom of the deck is your challenge. Represents what you're not seeing, what you're not looking at. So you've got Temperance here. We've got Temperance, we've got the King of Cups, and we've got Nine of Cups. So a lot of cups off the bat, Scorpio. So that's your own energy. You're showing up in your own energy, which we do love to see. It does feel like your challenge this month. Okay, I don't know why it's coming through this way. I'm hearing emotional maturity. It feels like with the Temperance here and the Nine of Cups, some of you guys could be making like cognitive steps towards your own happiness, your own wish fulfillment. You know, Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. It is happiness, especially because it came out next to the Star. So that is very big wish fulfillment for sure. But it also does feel like whatever this is, Scorpio, there is a physical aspect to it as well. There is a world aspect to it. This is not just a, flick a coin in a, what are those things called? Fountain, and it's delivered to you. There are some more practical steps. There's like a sense of practicality here in your challenge that I feel like some of you guys are approaching in the month of September. So let's dive in. You start right off the bat with the Five of Swords. So don't love to start with the Five of Swords because it is like, it's a combo of distrustworthiness, but also self-sabotage. So it does kind of feel like right off the bat, you guys are either dealing with people, places, things that you don't really trust, or you're fighting your own self-sabotage. Your crossing card, now the crossing card in a Celtic cross is either help or a hindrance. Seven of Cup doesn't feel like a help to me, Scorpio. It does feel like you are a little bit, I almost want to say, overburdened with choice this month. You may be in some sort of executive or managerial position because it feels like you are sort of forced to make a lot of decisions this month. Like you may, like I said, you may have people that work underneath you or that ask a lot of you, but it feels like you're kind of in this position of people needing a lot of things from you this month. And I feel like you're kind of over it, is how I'm picking this up. Like, I feel like you're a little overburdened by it. Maybe as I'm like delving into the energy, I don't think this is self-sabotage. I think this is just, you may not necessarily trust the people around you right now. Whether that's friends or family, I don't know yet. Five of Wands, conflict. Three of Wands is waiting. Queen of Pentacles. This could be, Queen of Pentacles is a mom card for me. So this could be a maternal figure for you, or this could be a wound that stems from the wounding of the maternal line here. Three of Wands is waiting, and Five of Wands is conflict. So it feels like, I don't think that for a lot of you guys, this is the physical mother. This to me feels like, I don't know why it's coming through like this. Like you're having trouble standing up for yourself because of the mother wound. You may be dealing with people that maybe they remind you of mom, or they are more maternal, so you don't necessarily want to like lose your marbles on them. But it does sort of feel like with the Three of Wands here, as well as with that Five of Wands, I don't think you guys are making as big of a fuss as you should be right now. This kind of feels like, to me, maybe it is a little bit of self-sabotage in that regard as well, right? Because if there are things going on that you should be speaking up about, that you should be bringing to other people's attentions, injustices, and you're not, that's self-sabotage, babe. Okay, the World at the bottom of the deck with the Hermit. I think a lot of you guys also have learned over the years that you don't really trust people, okay? It feels like you deal with hyper independence really strong, and you're like, oh, I won't let anyone in so that I can just deal with it myself. Scorpio, there's a lot of whammies here this month, right off the bat. Like, just to start off the month, you know, we've got people we don't trust, we've got self-sabotaging tendencies, and we've got some sort of injustice going on around you, which does kind of echo as to why in your headspace is literal justice as well. You know, I think a lot of you guys are really looking at, the way I'm hearing it is it worth my time or not? You know, is this giving back to me? Is this worth my time? Is it worth the effort? And I feel like a lot of you guys are, some of you are making pros and cons lists, is what my guides are showing me. Like you're literally writing down like all the bad stuff versus all the good stuff, and then looking at it that way and like weighing it up in like a very realistic manner here. Interesting. What are you finding? Ace of Cups. So you're navigating with your heart, which is really important. Five of Cups. Eight of Cups. Okay. A lot of water energy here, Scorpio. That's you. I want to remind you guys also, there's no such thing as wasted time. I think one of your hangups here, Scorpio, is that you feel like if you leave whatever this is behind, you wasted your time or you wasted your effort here. You absolutely did not. You know, Five of Cups with the Eight of Cups and the Ace of Cups. Something I will tell you is that sometimes when we are learning ourselves and learning who we are, we learn it through almost process of elimination. You know, you said, let's say, you know, I used to be a hairdresser, and I would have some clients where they didn't really know what their favorite hair color was until they tried it. And then they were like, oh, well, I liked purple, but I didn't like blue. And I liked green, but I didn't like red. What I mean by this story is that you sometimes learn more about yourself from what you don't like versus what you off the bat do like. And so it feels like, Scorpio, this month, in your headspace, you're going to be really thinking a lot about the things that you don't like. And I am really encouraging you to not think of this as wasted time, to not think of what you've done as pointless or it's not helping you or anything like that, okay? It's teaching you a lot about yourself this month, okay? Whether or not this has happened in the past, you know, and now you're finally coming to the realization, it doesn't matter. You know, you're recognizing that, and this is not a bad thing, Scorpio. I feel how much your energy doesn't want me to say this. You don't know yourself very well. That's okay. That's okay, Scorpio. You are allowed to be figuring yourself out, okay? But the one thing I will tell you not to do is discount your experiences and discount who you are, okay? There is nothing wrong with figuring out what you do love by eliminating what you don't love, okay? Remember that, because it's even here in your physical world is the Eight of Cups. So you have the Eight of Cups twice. It's a walk away. It's an exit. You're leaving something in the dust. My guides are playing that old song for me, Another One Bites the Dust. You know, you are sort of racing away from something here. Whether that is the things you don't like. Some of you, it's a job. Wheel of Fortune, Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Cups. I don't even think they want me to talk about what you're coming from as much as they want me to talk about where you're going, because where you're going is fabulous. Nine of Cups with the Nine of Pentacles is self-sufficiency. You know, this could be entrepreneurial work. It doesn't have to be. Nine of Pentacles is also single ladies. Keep in mind, when I say ladies, I'm talking to everyone. Everyone's a lady to me. I say girly and everyone. Girly and ladies, a lady to everyone. You know, with that Nine of Pentacles here and the Nine of Cups, I think you guys are also, how do I say that? Like, taking pride in what you like. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but it's almost like you're seeing what it is that you like, that's driving you, and you're going after it, as opposed to maybe what someone else likes. I think a lot of you guys, I'm hearing the word subservient. I think a lot of you guys come from professions where you, what is that called? When you acquiesce to someone else. You know, someone asks you a question, you're like, oh, I don't know, I have to ask my boss. Oh, I don't know, I have to ask the owner. I don't know, I have to ask someone else. And it feels like a lot of you guys learned to do that with your own passions as well. Like, there's a little bit, now I feel like this is where the mother wound comes in, because it was like you never really went after what you wanted unless someone else also liked what you were doing. It's a rejection sensitive dysphoria thing here, okay? Where you were like, oh, I love makeup, but I'm not going to go after makeup unless my friend Sharon also tells me she loves makeup. Do you see what I mean? Whereas now you're like, I love makeup. I have adult money and I have adult time. I'm going to go and do what I want to do here. Okay, with that Wheel of Fortune, I think this is really pivotal for what's like the next phase of your life, is being able to make those cognitive choices and make those decisions. Just bit my lip. Make those decisions and follow your own path and not let someone else sort of dictate where you're going to go, right? In the past, you do have the King of Wands. I think some of you guys, what is coming through really loud is that regardless of whether or not this is romance, this is friends, this is work, it doesn't matter. You dealt with codependency issues here. Of like, again, King of Wands, it's really speaking to outside of yourself to me. This is coming through as like I'll listen to you because I trust you more than I trust me. And I think that was a really big source of agita for you, like a really big source of heartburn. I just learned recently that's a real word, agita. Look it up. Agita. You know, with that King of Wands, I think you were outsourcing a lot of authenticity here. My guides are showing me cigarettes right now. Maybe you smoke cigarettes. Obviously, I don't have to tell you the danger of smoking cigarettes. You obviously know the risk associated with that. I'd be very careful with that as well. You've got the Chariot, the Three of Cups, and the Page of Pentacles here. Yeah, for a lot of you guys, I feel like coming from the past here, you know, King of Wands in your past, I think you are chasing your own passions now. You know, this is really, I always use the example, and I talk about it a lot on this channel, sorry if you've heard it before, of like underwater basket weaving. You know, if I have a friend that tells me they think I would love underwater basket weaving, and so I go in and take the class, and I hate it, am I going to stay in the class? Chances are I'm not. Okay, maybe if I was unhealed and I was scared of what they would say, I would stay in the class. I would acquiesce to them, excuse me, I think I said that wrong. But now it feels like Scorpio with the Chariot, the Three of Cups, and the Page of Pentacles, I think you guys are also, you're not doing that anymore. You're like, hey, listen, I tried the class. I fucking hate underwater basket weaving. I'm not doing it anymore. That's okay. You're allowed to make that choice, Scorpio. I don't know why, but it feels like a lot of you guys have hangups with permission. Like you need permission for things, like either permission to do what you want, or permission to take the class, or permission to do something. It's like you're always looking for outside validation. And I think that's something that's going to be brought up really heavy in this month, in September, for you, is like, well, what do I need the validation? Why can't I just make that choice for myself? Why do I need someone else to sort of bolster my resolve and jump on the bandwagon with me? I think that's what you're really seeing here. Sorry if you can hear my roommate. We're a house of gamers here. Shocking. Because then moving into the near future here, you've got the Five of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands. I think that what you're also realizing here, Scorpio, is that not, how do I say this? Not every loss is a loss. There's almost like this friction that I feel that you've been holding within yourself for a long time, of like, even if you lose someone that's horrible for you, that you don't even like, you are like so upset by it. And I think that it's taken you up until recent to recognize that not everyone who leaves your life is, this may be a hot thing to say, but I'm hearing it, so I'm going to say it, worth your grief. Some of them don't deserve your grief. It's just, it feels like this is just, it's another one of those like inevitable cycle closing moments for you, Scorpio, where things are going to fall by the wayside. And it may be people, it may be opportunities, and not every loss is a loss, babe. Okay? This is really big, of like, it's not gonna hurt as bad as I think you think it's gonna hurt. It's like when you get a shot, like you go to the doctor and they're like, oh, hey, you need your booster today. And you see the needle and you're so scared. And then it's like, boop, boop. And you're like, oh, I thought that was going to hurt really bad. You have the 10 of Cups with the Emperor and the 6 of Pentacles. For a lot of you, this is going to be work. I am feeling very strongly this is a work for a lot of you this month. With the Emperor, there's, again, entrepreneurial energy. The 10 of Cups is your happy ending. And then the 6 of Pentacles. I think you guys are also recognizing a pattern here, is how I'm hearing it, like within yourself, of maybe sticking around places that you're not supposed to. I feel like there's almost this feeling here of like the expiration date was 3 weeks ago, babe. Throw it out. It feels sort of like people, places, things have expiration dates too, right? It's not just food. And I think, Scorpio, in September, I literally just had the errant thought of, I was like, oh, the title's probably going to be expiration dates. In September, I think you are reconciling that within yourself, of like, this maybe was for me at one point. It is no longer for me now, and that's okay. You don't have to keep everything until there's literally a colony of mold growing on it, right? You can smell, I drink oat milk, but let's say I drank regular milk. I can smell milk. And even if, let's say it's before the expiration date, but if it smells bad, I get rid of it. Okay? If I had something sitting on the counter, that loaf of bread for a week, and it's not moldy, but I smell it and it's rank, I get rid of it. Okay, you guys are learning the lesson of like, I don't have to wait until, like I said, there's a kingdom of mold on my bread to throw it out. Okay, that goes for people, places, things too. how you're viewing yourself as the King of Pentacles. I really do feel like for those of you that are not in managerial positions, it feels like managerial positions are going to be calling to you, or you may get recruited for a managerial position here. But with the King of Pentacles here, of how you're seeing yourself, it's almost like you're ready, is what I want to say here. I think a lot of you guys have struggles with self-doubt, and it stems from not being recognized, is what I'm hearing. Especially as a child, a lot of you could have had siblings where you were compared a lot. And so as a result, it's like you were never the shining star, is what I want to say here. And so now it sort of feels like as you move into September, you're getting recognized a little bit more. And I think that's what's also kind of giving you the strength to be like, if someone were to approach you and offer you a managerial position, maybe I'm going to take it, you know? Yeah, Five of Swords, it's like you're fighting off self-sabotage here. You know, I want you to remember that this is a stepping stone. This will help you recognize within yourself that you don't need someone else to tell you how good you are at your job or how great you are or anything of that sort, okay? It's not great that we need it to like go for the promotion or that we need that reassurance to do the thing, but it is that stepping stone for us, right? Yeah, oh, you have 5 cards that fell out. That's crazy. The Devil, the 5 of Swords, so there you are fighting that self-sabotage, Judgment, Magician, and the Fool. You know, I mean, this is really beautiful, Scorpio. I think you're also saying to yourself that what's the worst that's going to happen? I give it a try and I don't like it. You know, I've worked in so many coffee shops in my life, and I've had friends that thought they wanted to be promoted, and then they got promoted, they hated it, and they just stepped back down. That's it. It's as easy as that. I think what you guys are missing here is that you're viewing these decisions as permanent for some reason. You know, you're like, well, if I do this, it's permanent and I'm stuck and I can never move on. You know, that's not the case for a lot of decisions are not permanent, babe. Okay? You know, even a permanent decision like a tattoo, you can get lasered off. Who just did that? One of those celebrities just did that. Why can't I think of him? Pete? Is that his name? I can't remember. You know, it was tattooed his whole body. Now it's all gone. You know, I think you guys are... Hold on. Say it again. My guide's coming in clutch with this one. A contract is not a prison. Direct quote, what I just heard. Scorpio. A contract isn't a prison. Okay? Your superpower is the Magician, so I do love to see this as well. I think you are also in a place of, again, this is a reoccurring theme for you. You're like, if I don't like it, I move on to something else. Sorry, throat and mouth get very dry from talking. You know, with the Magician here as your superpower, I think you guys are also really accepting that you have more sway in your future than you thought you did. You know, I think for a lot of you, like I said earlier, I'm going to say it again, you were kind of going with someone else's plan. You were following along with someone else. And now you're recognizing with the Magician, oh, wait, I actually have more power here. I can decide. Like I said, I take this job, I get promoted, I don't want it, I step down. That's it. You know, I think you guys are really letting that information settle within you. One more. Thank you. 7 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles. 7 of Cups. Interesting. 7, 7, 4. This is odd. So, This almost feels like I shouldn't have said odd because that's not the word I'm looking for, but like this feels kind of random to me. Some of you may have some sort of like something from the past that comes back for you in a very passionate way. Um I don't know how to describe this. I don't know why it's coming through like this. It feels like something is going to surface that you maybe entertained in the past that you maybe had let go of, but now you're going to genuinely consider it. Um, Seven of Cups is options. Seven of Pentacles is effort versus yields. And then the Four of Pentacles is like holding your cards close to your chest. So on paper, this doesn't read as that, but in energy, it kind of smacked me in the face. Like, I think that's how it's going to feel for you. When this thing happens, it's almost like, again, boom, boom, and it just smacks you in the face of like, oh, I've been sitting on this for a really long time. I should do it. It's exciting, but also daunting is what I'm picking up here. Like, I would try to lead with your excitement, try to lead with your wonder here, your whimsy, and just go after it a little bit. Again, what's the worst thing that happens? When I was a child, I call it smushing. I got smushed by my parents when I would draw, so I stopped drawing. I started drawing again in my like mid-20s, and I decided after doing it for a couple months, I was like, you know what? This isn't for me. I thought it was going to be, and it's not. But guess what? I tried it. I did it. I gave back to myself. Okay? Remember, again, Scorpio, it's not permanent. Okay? You can pick up a hobby and decide you don't want to do it. Okay? Your fear here is the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. I think you guys, even though you are getting praised here at work, it feels like you're still worried about it. Like you're still like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not doing this good enough. And I feel like something you guys need to remember is that most people, my guides corrected me, do not give out praise specifically for no reason. Okay? Let's say, I don't know, I was teaching tarot reading, and someone said, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I said, that's a really good interpretation. It's not what I would say, but it's a really good one. I wouldn't say that to someone just to say it to them, right? If someone came to me with the Three of Swords, the worst card in the deck, and they were like, oh, I interpreted this as new love. Babe, it's not. I'm going to be honest with you. Hey, you're off base there. Okay? Most people don't give false compliments. Okay? So if you're getting praise from people, Scorpio, own it. It means you're doing a good job. Okay? Literally, Page of Cups, the Hanged Man, and the Nine of Wands. You need to start digging in for yourselves, Scorpio, into this validation wound. Why do I need it? Because the way that this is coming through is that even when people validate you, you still don't believe it. You're like, oh, well, they're just being nice to me. I hate to say this, Scorpio, but people aren't nice that way the way that you think they are. Okay, most people, especially at work, most people are going to tell you. Your coworkers are going to say, hey, there's some opportunity for growth here. They'll probably even be meaner than that. I think you guys need to start really taking time to sit with yourself and get to the core of why you need the validation. Why don't I believe it? But then you get it. That's your follow-up question. Okay, why do we need the validation? But then I get it and then I don't believe it. Why? And then it's like around every corner, it feels like you guys need someone to tell you you did the right thing here. You don't. How does it feel, Scorpio? Does it feel like you did the right thing? Then you did. Okay? Follow your heart. Don't follow your need for validation, okay? Your outcome is the Lovers. I do love this, Scorpio. It does feel like, yes, there are choices to make here, but it does feel like overall your month is, it feels positive to me. It feels like you are interjecting magic and love and, like I said, whimsy earlier back into your life here. You know, you're making choices that even though they're hard, they're worth it. Okay, interesting. Four of Wands, the Hierophant, and the High Priestess. Interesting. But the High Priestess is in reverse. I think you guys are figuring out also within yourself, like, what sort of inner voice you prefer, right? So there's the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. The High Priestess and the Hierophant are quite literally the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine of the spiritual realm. So to have one up and one reversed, won't do that for reverse. It tells me that you're favoring the Hierophant and not the High Priestess. And I think for a lot of you guys, it's because these are very different energies, right? When you think about the Hierophant, it's more organized. It's more traditional. It's more masculine. When I think about the High Priestess, I think I'm flowing. Maybe I do rituals sometimes. You know, I'm dancing in the moon. You know, I'm doing it a little bit more eclectic, whereas the Hierophant is a little bit more, I don't want to say standardized, but organized. That's a better word to use. Organized. I think you guys are also figuring out this month which energies you prefer. How do you want to move within yourself, within your own world? And I think that's sort of shaping how you're interacting with things or how you're going to interact with things in the future. You know, overall, it feels really positive here. Okay? It feels really good. But let me get you an oracle card. I'm just trying to clean up after myself. The worst, that I have such a bad habit. You guys have definitely heard me say this before. I have such a bad habit of strewing cards all over my desk. And then I'll finish a reading. And there's so many cards that I can't even get to my keyboard. And I'm like, why am I like this? All right, cool. Clean. Let's get you guys an oracle card. You know, but figuring out how you want to move in your own life, what energies feel better to you, that's the first start, Scorpio. That's like your most, that's square one. How do I want to move? What do I want my spiritual practice to look like? If I even want a spiritual practice, you know? And then that turns into, when we think about Hierophant, High Priestess, it turns into, well, how would I handle this in my everyday life? Okay, if I handle my spirituality really structured, that means I have to structure the rest of my life, right? See what I mean? I am using the Angelarium for you guys today. This is my favorite oracle deck to date. It reads us to filth. The art is beautiful, and it's just my favorite, so we always use it. What's the advice for Scorpio for September, please? Thank you. Interesting. This card came out recently, too. You guys have Samshiel, Angel of the Eclipse. Interesting. Let's read it. It is number 35. Okay. Something powerful is set to disappear soon. The light will still be there, but you won't have access to it for a time. Keeping the faith when the world is cold can be hard, but it's a worthy cause. Trapped in the moment of an eclipse can feel like a place apart from the rest of reality, but it's just an illusion. Scorpio. It feels like you are cutting straight to the truth here, babe. Okay? We're not beating around the bush. We're not bullshitting anymore. We are just getting straight to the matter at hand. We're getting to the nerve of the problem, and we're fixing it from there. Okay? Scorpio, that is your monthly forecast. I will leave it there for you guys. If this reading resonates with you or my reading style resonates with you, do consider liking and subscribing. We are on the way to 200 subscribers, which is great. If you guys would like to interact with me on a live basis, I do go live 3 days a week on Twitch. You can find me Wednesday and Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST, as well as Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. EST. All right, Scorpio, I hope to catch you over on Twitch, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.